You've poured your heart into your track and hit send, and nothing. Days turn into weeks, your confidence dips, and you start to wondering, maybe labels just aren't interested in me. I've been there, and it's brutal. Trust me, it doesn't mean your music isn't good. It's about how you're pitching and who you're pitching to. Today, we'll fix that. I'm going to reveal an exact 3-stage strategy that helps countless artists break through the noise and get their demos signed to top record labels. This is a strategy from my new book, Gather, Give and Grow, which helps boost your Instagram and your content and is available now. And today, we're going to take my 3G strategy from the book and apply it to mastering demo sending. Stick around because labels don't just sign great tracks, they sign relationships. And if you're new here and want to grab my full guide to sending methods which explains it clearly, grab my free ebook. I've linked to it in the description, or just comment the word demos and I'm going to send it to you. It's packed with practical tips for DJs and music producers. Before we dive in, here's why you should trust that advice. I've spent over 10 years helping artists get signed to labels like Defected and Toolroom and Drumcode and Hospital and Hot Creations and Solotoko. My Artist Blueprint members have secured hundreds of signings across multiple genres, including house and techno and drum bass and jungle and melodic techno and disco. And I run 5 record labels under Data Transmission, DT Weapons, DTDMB, 63B and Disco Infiltrators. And I've learned exactly what it takes and what it doesn't. And most artists think it's about having the perfect track. But the truth is, your amazing music won't matter if no one opens the demo. And they won't open it if you're sending it to the wrong person or the wrong label, or the record label is too big for you right now. Or you're hitting it to 50 email addresses with one generic email. Sending your demo to multiple labels is smart, but CCing a giant list with no personality, that's what I call the spray and pray. It rarely works. Labels aren't lottery tickets, they're ecosystems, and then you need to understand how they work, who they sign, and why they are choosing certain artists. And that's where Gather comes in. Gather is your first step. Gather the right targets. Not just the labels you like, but the labels that are actually signing artists like you right now. And here's what most producers wrong. They pick their top 5 dream labels and send demos to them only. But the reality is, your dream labels might not even open your demo if you're not at that level of the artist they're signing right now. So instead, build a 3-tier system. 1, your dream labels, the top tier brand labels you'd love to eventually sign on, like the Defectors, the Drumcodes, the Hospitals, the Hot Creations. Then 2, your target labels, are labels with similar sound with artists signed that with stats close to yours is a sweet spot. And then 3, credible labels that can help you build momentum, get DJ support, and grow your reputation. Now, let's get tactical. To work out where you fit, check out the releases, not just the biggest hits, but the recent signings. Are they vocal heavy led tracks, or are they deep and groovy one? Are they led by synths or breaks or bass lines? This tells you what labels are signing and what they're feeling right now, not 2 years ago. Look at who they're signing. Do those artists have hundreds of thousands of monthly listeners, or have they got 5,000? Are they getting regular DJ gigs, or are they early in their journey just like you? And this is how you find labels that are realistic matches for you at your current level. Explore that label's ecosystem. Defected, for instance, has 26 sub-labels. So saying, I want to sign to Defected is really vague. Is your track right for D4 Dance, Big Love, Glitterbox? Knowing exactly where you fit inside a label group shows you've done your homework, and it helps your demo stand out. Understand how they accept demos. Some labels use platforms like TrackStack. They streamline the process for the label. But unless they've heard your name before, it's still a cold submission. And that's where your strategy really comes in. Know the name of the A&R, the person who decides what gets signed. It's not always obvious, but with a little digging on things like LinkedIn, Instagram, or their DJ pages, you can literally figure it out. And when you get to know who that is, you know who you're going to email. And it changes the way you write that email. Track where they hang out, or if they are speaking at things like conferences like IMS or AD or Brighton Music Conference. Are they behind the scenes at club nights? Are they talking openly on threads or Instagram stories? Knowing this gives you future touch points and ways to build relationships before you do the pitch. When you do this kind of gathering, it really helps you work out who your targets are. You're not just being organized, you're working with your brain, not against it. Goal graded theory tells us that we'll feel closer to your goal and our motivation increases. By creating tier 2 and tier 3 targets, You're giving yourself achievable wins, and that momentum fuels the consistency. You also reduce decision fatigue and this mental exhaustion from too many clear options. When you already define who your realistic target is, the pitch becomes faster, it becomes cleaner, and it becomes more focused. And you activate progressive mastery, building skills through repetitive success. Each smaller win builds confidence and gives you real feedback you can build on. This isn't just strategic, it's psychological. It's the major reason our Artist Blueprint members start seeing signings faster. They stop aiming randomly and start making deliberate progress. It shifts their entire mindset. You go from, I hope they listen, to, I know this is the right label for my sound, and that confidence is felt in your email, and that's what gets your demo opened. Okay, now you've done that, let's give. Once you've gathered the right labels, it's time to give them the right pitch. And it starts with understanding this. Labels don't sign tracks, they sign people. And the bigger the label, the more they're signing forward motion. Not just great music, but momentum. They want to know what you have done already. Is there something happening for you? Are you building traction? Do you have your shit together? Because no label wants to do all the work anymore. They want to amplify what's already moving. So here's how to give your pitch the best chance of being heard. Follow their demo guidelines to the letter. If they ask for a private SoundCloud link, give them a private SoundCloud link. Don't give them a Dropbox folder or attach MP3s. Some use Label Radar, some want a direct email, some want to use TrackSnap. Skipping this step is a fast track to the bin. Personalize your message. Mention a recent track you've loved. Show an interest in their vibe. Here's an example for you. I really like your recent release by so-and-so artist. I love how the blend and grooves and melody, I think my track could sit in a similar space on your label. Include why it really matters. You don't need your whole life story, but do give context. Any DJ support or past label support, any recent stats, Spotify numbers, plays, monthly listeners, gigs, features, a quick line about who you are and what you're doing. Show them you're not just starting from scratch. It shows you are serious. It makes them easy to say yes. No vague messages, no walls of text, just clean, clear, simple, confident communication. When you personalize your pitch, reference the label's recent work, and you show you have done your homework, you activate multiple psychological triggers. 1. Familiarity bias. The A&R is more likely to engage with something that feels familiar. If they see your name pop up on social media or heard about your latest release, you're instantly going to stand out. 2. You're going to have social proof, mentioning previous support, gigs, streams, signals that others have already believing in you, which makes it safer for the label to say yes. Then there's cognitive fluency. A clean, clear, well-structured email is easier for the brain to process. The easier your pitch is to understand, the more right it will feel. And remember, there's a person reading your pitch is a human and not a robot. They're more likely to back you if it feels easy, aligned, and already moving. Once you've nailed the pitch, there's one thing that can massively boost your chances, and it's something most producers totally miss. And that is what we're going to dive into next. But first, let me show you how this will play in the real world out there. Josh Samuel is a Liverpool-based producer who I've been working on and off with for 7 years. We started in my one-to-one coaching way back, and then it moved into the Artist Blueprint, and then back to one-to-one. In 2023, all that groundwork finally clicked, and he signed a deal with the Good Company and landed major club record support with Solado, and got DJ support from Fisher, John Summit, Vintage Culture, and one of those tracks became Solado's best-selling releases on Solar. But here's what you don't see on social. Josh had a moment in 2020 where it almost had a breakout massive world record. Solado wanted it, Camel Fat were playing it, everything was lining up big time. And then lockdown hit. The world stopped and momentum vanished overnight. We had to really rebuild from scratch. And that journey from being crushed by that moment to signing bigger records a year later is what made Josh bulletproof. He said the lesson you taught me was to celebrate the small wins and keep those going, even when you get the big ones get delayed. We worked on finding his lane as an artist. We figured out what type of music made sense for him, what labels were right for him at that time, and how to pitch to them properly. And it worked. The network opened the doors for him. The quality improved. The confidence came back. And the momentum returned fast. And if you're in that moment and you feel like the doors aren't opening for you, just know we've been there. With the right guidance, it turns around. If networking is the part where you struggle, and if you're not sure how to connect to the labels before you send in music, then you need to check out my free webinar, The Artist Accelerator. In it, I'm going to break down how to build genuine relationships with A&Rs to get your name known before you even send a demo. The exact message that worked to warm up your pitch. Plus, I unlock 2 other huge unlocks that dramatically enhances your music getting signed, things that most producers overlook. This session has helped hundreds of DJs and producers land real releases, and it's completely free. Hit the link below in the comment, or just comment AA and I'll send you the link, and you can join us, and it'll be the best 60 minutes you ever spend this month. Once you've pitched the right music to the right label, your job isn't over. In fact, one of the biggest differences between artists who occasionally get signed and those that build real momentum is what you do before and after the pitch. This is the grow phase, because labels just don't sign music, they sign real relationships, and most of those start way before the demo even lands. Network before you pitch. If your name is already familiar, your demo doesn't land cold, it lands warm. Go to industry events, club nights, go to conferences like AD, IMS, Brighton Music Conference. Get face to face with the people and the labels and the A&Rs, the DJs and the teams. Even one quick chat and event can turn a cold pitch into recognized names. Use content to connect. Let's say you can't travel, fine. So you can still build connections online. Support the label's music on your radio show. Tag their artists in your posts. Feature their tracks in your live streams and playlists. Comment on their Instagrams and slide into the DMs without asking anything. Just start a conversation. People sign music from people, and more often than not, friends sign music from other friends. Think long term, not just one track. Don't treat every demo like it has to be the one that changes your life. Think about how you're building your career with each release, each connection, each new label. Grow your network, grow your profile, grow your monthly listeners, and those signings are then going to start coming more and more often and more easily. Now, what if the problem isn't your music, but your strategy after it gets signed? Getting your track signed is just one thing, but what you do next is what builds your career. And that's when most artists fall down. But what if the biggest opportunity isn't a track, but what happens after? If you want help figuring out which labels are right for you and how to get in front of them and what you do once you've been signed, then join my artist development program, The Artist Blueprint. We build the full strategy together. No more questions, no more guessing, no more wasting demos, just clarity, support, and serious progress. From demos to networking to growing your audience across every platform. That's what's inside the Artist Blueprint. We don't just help you get signed, we help you build a system that keeps the momentum going long term after releases. Spots are limited, so hit the link below or comment the word blueprint and I'll send you a link to jump on a call with me to see if it's right for you. So here is a quick recap. Gather the right labels based on sound, size, and who they're actually signing right now. Give them the pitch that's clear, personal, professional, and grow your network, your presence, and your chances. Because people sign music from people. If this has helped you, drop a comment below with the label you're targeting next. I'd love to hear it. And if you're already getting releases but want to grow your monthly listeners, then you definitely need to check out this video next, because I show you how to grow on Spotify and grow your monthly listeners. You'll learn some killer ways to grow your audience using Instagram and turning your releases into real momentum. And I'll see you in this one.